I think a lot of you would remember him when he did a phenomenal job representing Kenya on the Big Brother Africa Hot Shots. I'm speaking about none other, a dad, a husband, a man, Mr. Melvin Alusa. Karibu.
Karibu sana.
Asante
Unaonaje venye maisha ni tarumbeta? Juzi tulikuwa tunateseka na wetu au sika hizi ni wewe mazee na kuhoji.
Tulikuwa tunateseka kwa street vibaya sana.
Sasa umekuwa star tu unakuja na kuhoji mazee.
Umesema hiyo nini mazee, umepiga hiyo intro imejaa. Nikasema wewe ni mimi kweli na wewe ni Eriko.
How are you, my darling?
Karibu sana Melvin.
Asante sana.
And thank you so much for, spending time to come all the way. I'm sure you met some traffic.
Yeah.
I remember you and Melvin and I happen to know each other.
Yeah.
From way back in the day. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Today we are talking about Melvin. Melvin, let's start there at the tail end there when we talked about Big Brother. Did it help the brand and did it help the person, Melvin, being on the Big Brother?
That's a difficult question sometimes to to answer, because when I got into Big Brother, to be honest, I went in to take that big leap and go, like, just take the sacrifice of being away from family for that long was specifically because I wanted to get the money.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was already in the
family
acting.
No, yeah, I was my acting career had already been established.
Yes.
I was doing commercials.
Yes.
I was already doing my stuff.
Yes.
So when I got in, it wasn't because I wanted maybe to establish my brand or anything. So coming out, really, I didn't get at like gigs because I was in BBA. In fact, sometimes Kenya is a weird market. People tend to brand you too expensive because you've been on this show.
They've
that
seen
show.
you on certain platforms.
Yeah. But well, it's neither here nor there. But
Comme ci, comme ça.
Comme ci, comme ça.
We were talking about celebrity, being a celebrity and raising family just before you came in, and we were having a very interesting conversation here about the challenges of just being a public figure. And still the same time raising a family or just having a successful marriage. So like from your story, you talk about you're already a family man, more or less, when you're in Big Brother. Have you experienced some of these pressures of being both a public figure and a successful husband? Because you've seen what's happening even on Twitter right now. People are being sort of exposed for doing all manner of alleged stuff, So in your career end, because I've seen you, I've watched Alusa doing plays at Alliance, and he's like, the talent is up there, and obviously the ladies are always there screaming, Jackie, yeah, that is Alusa, and waiting for you after the play over there, Paul, just to shake your hand and take that photo. So have you felt that pressure in your journey, and how have you handled it?
Yeah. Thanks. First of all, I think I'm privileged to be married to a very grounded, very understanding woman. And when we got married, she understood that this is my career path. So she knew that, or rather, she knew, but I also helped to explain to her that, public attention and, of course, people just wanting to know what's happening, or even women throwing themselves, is part and parcel of the journey. But having been there at that time, when I look at when I look at it with hindsight, because I'm way much older now than I was then.
Yes.
I think it's a matter of being able to separate, to prioritize, because for me, family is very, very important. It's a very central part of my life, and this maybe we may get into it later. It's because of the way my childhood was and whatnot. But so I've managed successfully, perhaps, to separate my family life from my public life. But again, you may try to separate them, but they kind of also entwine, because if you go out there and you don't carry yourself as a family man or as a husband, and you portray yourself as someone who is available, then of course that eats into your family. So not without challenges, yes, but I think the secret is in being able to prioritize both separately, knowing that this is family, and then of course this is now my career, and just keeping both of them apart. Sometimes they entwine, but you have to be able to. Yeah.
So, like, what's Barbara? I hope I haven't interrupted you, but like, what's your family story like in regard to your relationship and your acting? Did you find her before your career had established? Did you meet and start off before, or you met her along the way? How did that go? What's the story?
I met her when I had just started off. I met her when I had just started tasting some success. Yeah, I met her when I had done a few stage plays here and there. My screen life had started. I was right in the middle of doing so many commercials, but she didn't know that. Because she's not Kenyan. She's from elsewhere, so she had no idea of that. And then Pia, at that time, the internet wasn't awash with so many things. So I'm glad I met her in that sort of environment at the time. What was the question again?
The question was, I was asking, like, did you meet her along the way? And actually, you're answering.
Oh, yeah.
Did
So,
you
yeah.
meet, you've said that you met her when you're already in your acting.
In my acting, yeah. So sikuchukua mtu wa industry ama mtu mwenye
So it must have helped having someone from like another country.
Yeah, but when she came here, she found out, oh my God, this guy is just doing his thing, and this guy is a known public figure. Yeah, I commend her honestly, because she took it in stride. To be honest, she's one of the reasons why I'm a really grounded husband and father. Yeah, yeah.
Now, Melvin, I can call you Melo, as we call you. Yes, me and Melo go way back. Watu wa Umoja Renegades. Wanajuana hapo. Hiyo ni story ingine for another day. Melvin, what is the relationship between your children, and how do you strike the balance between your work and your kids? Because I know you're one of the people who, between us, you started a family quite early. And we used to ask, how do you manage? So what is the balance? How has it been?
First of all, the relationship between me and my children is very unique. I have 6 kids.
Yes.
Yeah, I have 6 kids, and children are different. When you have more than one kid, you realize all these children are different, their personalities are different. But at the end of it all, the common denominator is that I am their father. I have a very, very, very close bond with all of my children. And it has been intentional, because all of them, just being different, they relate to you differently. But also understanding my position as their father, and the influence I have, and the power and the authority that I have over their lives. It makes me really honor that position in their lives, and also whatever I do with them, how I interact with them, how I'm raising them, is quite intentional. There's somewhere I'm going with them. I'm trying to undo something that happened in the past with me. I don't want that thing to continue over, and spill over to my kids. And it's very possible. It's happening. Yes. I can see some, with some people. So that's so. I have almost a sacred relationship with my children. Yeah, and being able to balance between what?
Between your career and them. Do you making time for them? Because it's also hard with the hours.
Yeah, with the hours. Like yesterday,
your career.
Just last night, I got home in the morning at 1 a.m. But you see, the good thing about my career also is, uko na kazi, sometimes you're too busy, you're away for 3 months, but also when you're home, you're available, properly available. So the times when I'm available, na sina kazi nafanya, regarding shoes, because shoes, like you say, shoes can be long and treacherous.
Sometimes weeks.
Kama just like this year alone, I was in Samburu for 52 days. I was away for 52 days. Na sasa when you're away, thank God for technology. There's FaceTime, your WhatsApp, there's calling. Yeah, but when I'm available, when I have time, I try to really engage them.
Eric, bye-bye.
No, it's fine. I think we're about to go on a break. My question is heavy. The next one.
Are you feeling it? I hope Eric is not tea related. Technical chai fulani nataka kushare hapa
usishare chai leo.
We're gonna get into that. We have a special guest in the building. Melvin Alusa has come through, and we're discussing, raising a family while pursuing a career in the arts. Eric, a buddy of mine, his name is Sash, aka Kasamba. we're in a group with him and akatuma picha ya Melvin ya hii interview akasema, Manu, will you be here as Melvin akikuwa kwa hii studio? And then some other guy was in America called Ingutia. Akasema, ni boy wangu mbaya. So Melvin, man, he has many people behind him, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Man. It's going to be a fun conversation.
It's going to be a fun conversation.
And it's such an honor that he spared time to just hang out with the adult in the room. Melvin, we cannot thank you enough. Now, just before we went on a break, you touched on how you raise your family and your children and how sort of almost sacrosanct these daddy duty is to you. I've had the privilege of talking to you in private, read some of your work, and I know you and your family pretty well, at least some of your brothers and some of your relations. One time, with your permission, Melvin, you and I and a lady friend of ours went to run on Ngong Hills.
Yeah.
We were working out. Tulikuwa tunafanya mazoezi. So we ran up the hill. Emmanuel, have you ever been to Ngong Hills?
No, I've just seen it.
Yes. So
Mimi nimepanda.
yeah, so we went up, we were running, working out. And then now when we were coming back, because we were tired, we got into some very deep conversation. So the thing about Melvin, apart from him being an actor, is also a human being with a human story.
Yes.
So Melvin, I would like for you to speak as freely as you can about you and your upbringing and how that would affect or is affecting how you're bringing up your kids, your relationship with your father, and just your relationship with your parents when you were growing up, and how that is shaping or has shaped the kind of a father you want to be or you do not want to be.
Okay. Asante mazeri, kio ni hapo, so I'll just open up and talk because
No, feel free. That's what adult is about.
Yeah. So the way I am now as both a husband and a father has its roots from my childhood. I grew up in a setting of a father, mother, and 3 children. But in the setting that I grew up in, I was a stepchild. But having come as the first before the other 2 came. So my father, when my parents got me, that's the story. I don't know. It's a gray area why they did not, get together. But I found myself when I became aware that I'm a human being, I was with my grandmother in the village. So my formative year, the first 6 years of my life, I was in the village with my grandma, and even my mother. By that time, my mom had gotten married elsewhere, and my father, of course, had moved on with his life. My grandmother was the one. God bless her soul. She's one of the people I remember, and I just sometimes I cry. She loved me jealously. She guarded me jealously. So I remember one day, so life in the village, I would visit my mom once in a while in Kileleshwa. She lived in Kileleshwa. Had never seen my dad ever until about 5-6 years. My mother, I feel she perhaps wanted to have her life, therefore I may have been a baggage at the time. I'm not saying she rejected me with that, but I understand also from her point of view at that time in the 80s, you just want to live your life. And now this child has come up and now the dad is not there. So
someone is marrying you.
Yeah, let me just go settle a bit, then maybe I can. But she would come, she would visit. So my life took a turn when my father came for me with some of my uncles in the village, and some small ceremony happened, and I was quickly whisked off to Nairobi. I remember I had I know the...
Say it in mother tongue. I'll translate.
In mother tongue, it's called Induali. I had something called Induali. Induali is wounds all over your body.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yani nilikuwa na wounds kila mahali. So
Upele
ajabu when my dad came for me. So anyway, that was dealt with when I came. I think it was because of some immunization stuff. I was just talking to my wife this morning. Nikimwambia, I don't think I went for any immunization. I can't remember going for
injection
nimesurvive tu hivi.
Ile hapa ama una
ya left niko nayo. So fast forward, I got myself in a corner in terms of as I grew older and as I came into myself as a young man, about 12, 13 years, my father was most of the time absent, either absent physically or absent emotionally. You couldn't make conversation with him. He was busy. He was in and out of the country. His career was high flying at the time. So my mom, the one now who adopted me, was the one who was staying with me most of the time. But now as time went by, I started to experience, as a young man coming into your teens, you want that connection with your mom or connection with your father. But that wasn't happening. And so I started to try and do some stuff around the house just to make myself acceptable or accepted. So I would brush all the shoes perhaps, or I would started washing my other siblings, or just basically just doing all the manual jobs around the house to get some kind of acceptance or to get some kind of attention from both my parents.
For people to notice your presence.
Yeah, people to notice my presence. That was that. But where things took a turn really was when I got into high school. When I got into high school, by that time I had absolutely no confidence in myself. I had no real relationship with my dad, who, and of course maybe as a man, growing up, you get to a point where you really look forward to the affirmation of your dad. But up until this point, there's nothing I could do that would get his attention. So getting into high school now, no attention, low self-esteem, things flipped in terms of I now began to behave weirdly in high school because I wanted affirmation and I wanted attention. I wanted to feel that there's some space I can own. So I just became a bully. I became rowdy. I couldn't talk to even those things for girls are coming, my innings and my outings, whatever. I couldn't funkies. I would wonder how people get themselves to even talk to these young, beautiful Mukumu girls. Because I was in Kakamega High School. Mukumu girls, how do guys do this? But because I was so big in structure, my fellow, my mbogi, my peers felt that this guy can be this big. Also, so definitely this guy he's the macho man. He's got the machismo. But inside, I was just a little cowardly boy.
So your self-esteem
my self-esteem
had taken a battering.
Had just taken a battering. But little did I know, that was just the beginning.
Is that when you joined rugby?
I joined rugby
because of the weight.
Yeah, because of the weight. Yes. I was told, hey, you with your height and your size, the only game you can play is rugby. So my father being an academician, ile report from ikikuja, he was very keen on it. And the first time, because I got a good mark to go to the school I went to, Kakamega. And that had to be consistent now with my grades in high school. But that took a dive second term, Form 1, and kept on going down in Form 2. And then now my father started taking notice, not of me as a person or my personality or who's this kid, but of the grades. And because of that, and now, school was something else for me. I had a double personality. In school, I was this hero, this macho man, Simba. But going back home, a really, really timid guy. You're there to be seen and not to be heard. Teachers started sending him bad reports, saying, hey, this kid is that, he's distracted, he's smoking marijuana, he's bad influence to others. And then my dad came for my neck. My relationship with him just took a complete nosedive. So now I got all the attention I wanted, but it was in the negative.
So it hadn't by then. Had you even formed any relationship? It was the relation for you're my son. Where are your grades? Like it wasn't like a friendship. It was like those old school relationships where meaning if I'm the dad and I just want some good grades. Like so many, it went to the negative.
Yani, you're right. So no relationship. Then all of a sudden it's just I want those grades. No friendship, no affirmation, no love, no nothing. To now I want those grades to improve. You're such a useless guy. You can't get nothing in school. By the way, I was playing rugby at the time. I became the rugby captain. I was excelling in other things except these things that he wanted. The schoolwork he wanted. But somehow over and above that, there's just a hatred that began to creep into my father towards me. He wouldn't talk to me. He would wake me up every night. He would come back maybe at about 11, and the first thing he would do is just shout my name. We lived in a nice house in Kileleshu, in Kilimani, was a maisonette, and he would enter and I would just cringe when I had it, the car coming. Now I'm 16 years old. I'm in Form 2, and he would come, and the first thing he would do is just start to scold me for hours. And my father can talk. He is gifted with a tongue, and his tongue is very skilled. And he would go at me and over and above now what's happening in school, just stuff. So I don't know if his relationship with my mother had begun to haunt him, and I was now reminding him of something that I don't know. The man would scold me for hours and then send me to sleep at about 1 o'clock when he's done. When he's talked until now, he's done. And this happened every time we come from shule. All the holidays, April, August, and December. Every week, at least twice or thrice.
In a week?
Yeah, in a week. I remember a time when... So of course, now this... Even the little self-esteem I was trying to get now was completely now gone. It was now shattered. And also my mom being just her, she was also trying to struggle in her own way. So she wasn't that kind of, calm and whatever your dad has done, I will do. She was also just minding her own business, really. I felt like a refugee in that home. Trying to scavenge, when my dad was around, just be seen but don't be heard. We talk at wapoenda. I remember kuna a time he came back home one night, and I think he had had it with me, and he told me, hey, I want to summarize this thing for you. You Melvin. It was about the wee hours of the night.
Yeah.
I hate you.
He said that.
He he told me, look, young man, nakuchukia, I hate you proper. And I'm not mincing my words about it, I hate you. And when you get to 18 years old, I'm just giving you time. Now you're busy doing your stuff, or how saw me, blah blah. When you get to 18, you see that door? You will pack your bags and you will leave that door. And I'm telling you the truth, you will leave that door. I said,
How old were you that time?
I was about 16 and a half.
So 16 and a half, Melvin, he's saying these words. You have 2 siblings, and he's obviously treating them different than he does you.
My siblings were treated differently from the way I was treated.
Like right before your eyes?
Differently. Like in terms of relationship, it was completely... I would see my brother holding his hand, and I would wonder, is that even possible? I would see my sister sitting on his lap, and they would laugh and they would smile. And I wanted that. I craved for that. I wanted his affirmation. I wanted his love. I would brush his shoes. I would wash the clothes. I would mop our house from up to down. All these things I did just because I wanted his... I would wash his car, inside, outside,
And still you'll not get like
he wouldn't even look at me. My father wouldn't even look at me. If he sends me... he had a command. He would say... He told me, when I call your name, I'll tell you, I will say arrive. When I say arrive, that time I didn't know the meaning of arrive, it means you appear here. And then you do whatever I've told you to do, and then you leave. Anytime I handed him something, for example, he would snatch it. That's already communication.
Yes.
Like he would never pick something from me just like that.
Gently.
Yeah, he would snatch it.
When he does this to you, and he's treating your siblings differently, was that affecting your relationship with your siblings because of that disparity?
Weirdly enough, it did not, because I was... the difference between me and the one who was closest to me was about 6 years. Then the follow was about a year after. It didn't affect, because also my siblings and me we had our thing.
Yeah.
Thank God for that. We had our own little thing that was going on. We would go to church together. We would sit, we would laugh. So that didn't affect. It affected my self-esteem just some more.
So after now he's told you that he hates you and you're a 16-and-a-half-year-old young man. Like, what happened next? Like, how did you relate with him next after that?
I just kept on trying.
Oh, you kept on trying?
Give up.
I just kept on trying. I just kept on trying to be good, trying to get those grades he wanted. But we see also on the other hand, something else was happening in school. I was getting rugby captain, but now also I was running in trouble with the school administration all the time, because it's like a curse that follows you. So I'm not really a bad person that is. There are guys who are smoking weed. There are guys who had girlfriends in the
Mlikuwa wengi.
Tulikuwa tu wengi. Hata mimi sasa nilikuwa ndo gang leader.
Lakini all of a sudden it's
Lakini
you.
mali kuna trouble too. The deputy first of all was Alusa there. First thing is was Alusa there. And if I wasn't there first, he would fish and try to fix me to it. Akijua siko, it's okay. Anyway, so things went that way. So I dived into rugby and I dived into kukatia mademo hiyo mtaa. I had girlfriends catch. So catch kwanza is a good school. So nilikuwa na mademu tu mkumu, keveye, sijui shule gani.
Mademu wako tu 16.
Niko na 16. Niko na testosterone mbaya.
Waluya.
Waluya. So preps zangu zilikuwa tu my preps because now I completely lost interest in books. Hata by that sikuwa nazielewa anyway. So nikasema to hell. My preps was for writing letters. So I had, niko na mafuskapu zangu kama 6 and I will write a nice one letter and copy paste this letter to all these other guys.
So this script writing started from that time.
Ilianzia
huko kuandikia wasichana ma love letters.
My love letter fitis zilikuwa na those flowers blah blah. I put some boot on it. All my preps were like that. Then of course rugby. So things went on that way, and then one day I got to I remember was just one of those closing days. I had no fare to come back to Nairobi. Actually, my dad never sent me fare in terms of that he come home. He wanted me, ukifunga shule, go to the village.
To your grandma?
Yeah, go to now his home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But somehow I managed to always
Get to Nairobi.
Get to Nairobi. And getting into the house was a problem. Can you imagine umetoka shule, you're coming back home, you know you're not wanted in this house, because that's now where imefika. So you've come, you're in the bus, coming, you're shouting, people are doing all the stuff, you're happy. You get to town, I take a 46, I've dropped, I've walked. And my fear just started at the gate, because we used to live in a courted area. Just getting to that house, I would literally, it's like walking on eggshells. And if I come and see my dad's car is parked, sometimes I would sit outside the house for an hour.
Just to wait for him to
Just
go.
wondering, how will I get into this house? I've come from school. But how will I get into this house where I am such an unwanted child? And most of the time I would get in through the back door first, just for him to hear my voice, and then talk to the how our help. Yeah, the help. And then I would like a dog that knows the master is angry, try to calmly appear in the sitting room. And for sure, that cold-hearted look of you disgusting whatever you've come would be there. So you do that once and twice, thrice, you sort of get used to it. Now you just know, okay, I'll come, I'll feel this way, and then somehow I will, whatever. And of course, by the time you're going back to school, you're told, this time, don't come back. For once, just do what I'm telling you, don't come back. And sometimes I went. But, as a boy now, if I go to the village,
And you have your siblings, you have
my
your
siblings, and
friends.
this is the life I know.
Yes, so you just feel like coming back
Yeah.
home.
And why am I being told to go to the village?
And
So things went that way, and on one, so I'm telling you, this thing is like it's like some kind of something takes over you. Closing day, I'm in the dorm sleeping. I hear some voices in the next dormitory. Oh, someone has stolen a shoe. They're being beaten. I was just happened to be in that. So of course chaos. Me, I want to wear chaos. So nikenda huko, the guy was being harassed by someone else. Was some commotion. Someone beat someone up, and I happened to be there. And of course, now when the deputy came and akasikia jina yangu,
you were
now
part
this
of
is
this
the guy.
mess.
Now nimekupata. That's how I was expelled from Kakamega High School. Something that was just flimsy. Hata sikuwa hapo. Now you imagine this history I've given you. Now I've been expelled.
Sasa
You can't go
umemwaga ile gasoline.
Now I've been expelled.
Kwa moto.
Kwa moto.
So unarudi
How did you take
kuji-explain.
Yani, guys, let me tell you, kufika tu your point here. So of course expulsion comes later on. You're first of all suspended. So you're told, okay, now when you open school, come back after 3 weeks
And come with your parent.
And come with your parent. Then now we expel you with your
with your parents.
My dad never. Look, he told me, look, man, you're now an adult. You're going to 18. You're going to Form 3. You're now going. You're an adult. You just get out. Just go.
He didn't take you
And
to
that's
school.
how you left?
That's how I got kicked out.
From school and at home.
He kicked me out. Yeah. He called my siblings and told them, listen, you've been hearing me telling this guy I'm going to kick him out. That time has come. I don't care about 18. That time has come and it's today. Get out. It was a good morning. They were sitting there. They saw. And that's just how I left.
So where did you go?
There was a guy who used to live with us because also our house was full of people. So there's a gentleman who he was my father's, my father had a friend in high school and this was the son and he was helping him get a job in Nairobi. And eventually he came, he stayed with us, he got a job. Used to work at Simas and now he was living in Uruma. And somehow I had gotten to go to Uruma to see, just to visit him. So I calculated, so I packed my bags. I actually packed. I think he gave me 20 bob or something. I can't remember. Or maybe 100 shillings. Something. There's some fare he gave me. Just go. I don't care where you go.
Did you know where your mom is at that time?
I knew my mom is there. So, but now my mom also had her life. And also her life had tumbled from grace to grass. She was also struggling. She was just struggling in her marriage. So I went to this guy's workplace at Simas. I told him, hey, my dad, and you know him how he is. I've been kicked out eventually. I mean, Form 3. Third time, I meant to go to Form 4 the next year. Yeah, so basically that's that. So he said, okay, can you hang around? Because now I'm working. Let's leave at about 5. It was about 12 mchana. So the day went by. I roamed around in town. There were no phones those days. There was no internet. I was just basically roaming around. 5 o'clock, toka, and we went to Uruma. So from Yaya, I was in Uruma in a one-roomed house with my cousin. Nikakaa hapo kidogo. So he goes to work, he leaves me alone in the house. So I just sit. You cook, you sit, no TV, no nothing. Somehow my father got to know that I was in this gentleman's house. And one day when I was not in the house, he came and he didn't find me. He told this guy, it's me who got you this job. It's me who came and, it's me who's giving you a life. I've kicked out Melvin and now you want him to stay with you. Either me and my relationship with you issues from now, moving forward, or you kick him out. This guy asked him for him to go where? Let him know where to go, but not with anybody that I know. So one day I came home, nikapata all my stuff was all over the place. Hapo tu nje. My father had come with this guy. I won't mention his name. Ametoa vitu zangu na ameziachanisha hapo nje in terms of just talker enda. And this gentleman, because also he felt he owed my dad so much, he decided, man, me, I need this relationship tomorrow. You and your dad, me, I would rather go with your dad. So you just go. And that's how I eventually, involuntarily, went to live with my mom in Umoja.
Hey, that is quite a story, man.
Quite a tale, man.
That is quite a story. We're going to tie up that story, and find out what happened after that. But one of the things, especially in relation to Eric's story, that I'll ask when we come back, and you can be thinking about it, is how all that affected your relationship with your kids. And I guess we'll get into that when we come back. And I'm seeing feedback is already streaming in. Greed Ojaka said we used to call him Mellow, and they've written many other things. We're going to dig into your feedback as we go along. This is 94.4 Spice FM. We have a special guest in the building, Melvin Alusa. We're talking about raising a family while pursuing a career in the arts. And this is a story you have to tell a friend to tell a friend. We have some Nelly coming through, and then we'll be back like we never left. All right. Eric, there was something that, we were having a chat about during the break, and I'd just like you to bring it up again.
Yes, Melvin, we'll go on another, maybe just a few seconds break at 9 o'clock. But in the next few minutes before 9 o'clock, I was telling you during the break that a lady who's also a very prolific writer, her name is Wanja Kivengi. She penned down on her Facebook post, I was talking about it a couple of days ago on this show, where she was owning up to not at all having a child. She ended the note by saying, I hate my son and I'm tired of hurting him. And I was telling you that I suspect strongly that there are fathers who, just like mothers, don't at all like their kids. And in fact, in my conversation with these two, I was saying that maybe we should have some legislatures put a law where if you actually feel like you cannot stand your seed, you can just donate them for either adoption or just whichever body legally All right. What do you feel about that? These treatment, these heavy treatment that you are handed in. Of course, I'm sure you feel you are undeserving of that treatment. What do you feel about this and how it affects you, even into becoming a father yourself? Because I would say you're very lucky. A lot of people turn around and do the most heinous things. They would become guys who slap women around. Guys who are humanizers, really, if you may, sleeping around, getting kids left, right, and center, not caring for them, so that they just regurgitate what was handed to them.
Yeah. So even before even that, I would like to say, it's not possible to, of course, maybe when you guys, it's not possible to share every experience here.
Yeah, of course.
Because even just after up to where I am. In the story, so much more.
Of course.
Vengeful things, happened later on. Stuff that was just whatever. But what was the question again?
My question is, you are lucky that you've managed to now become a dad of 6.
Yeah, I am.
And do you make a conscious effort not to be like your father? And how has that affected? How was that upbringing really affecting you now with your day-to-day life with the kids, your kids?
Okay. So all this happens. You go get someone's daughter, graciously you're in love, and then they become your wife, and then children now begin to come, and somehow you feel so there was a gap where I felt I'm over this thing, because my father eventually went away, lived in the UK for so many years. Wasn't seeing him, wasn't talking to him. My mom the same. So during that time also my career kicked off. So positive things begin to happen. I begin to become a man of myself. I chart my way, my career, and some love begins to come in. Some success is coming in terms of my career. You're meeting new people. You're establishing new friendships, and you sort of feel this thing just you forgot it. But little do you know, it's just taking a break.
Deeply embedded in you.
It's deeply embedded. The storm is raging. It's just taking a small break, but now to manifest in a different light. So now, when I got married to my lovely wife, I'm not just listening, but my lovely, amazing wife,
who cooks really well, by the way.
Tanzania jamani.
There's a day Melvin had me over at his house. Na akanipakia ya kubeba.
Some serious stuff.
That woman.
Ameolewa na Mluya. That's how we behave.
Anyway, tuendelee. Hata nimekumbuka hiyo kitu ilikuwa tamu sana.
Yeah. So when kids begin to come, this is a new. So now I am the one in charge. So now I'm the one who is the dad. I'm the one who is meant to become a father. But become a father from where? Become a father because where am I getting? Where did I get the training, or rather, what kind of training did I get? Because you see, when you're as a father, when you're unleashing this bitterness, this rage, this thing to your children, you're actually training them in that way. Because the Holy Book says, train up a child in the way they should go, and that thing won't depart from them. So the bitterness, all these things were in me.
That's what you know.
That's what I know. And there's a way to my first years were tough. My first years of fatherhood, my first years of being a husband were tough, because I found myself doing the same things. It's like a default setting that comes to you.
Were you going off on Madame?
I was going off on Madame.
Your kids?
I didn't know how to relate to, especially my first son, my first 2 sons. I just didn't know how to relate what was what.
The first 2 are they boys, if I may ask?
The first 2 are boys. The first 4, the first 3 are boys.
Oh, okay.
The first 3, first 3 are boys. I have no template. Or rather, I have a template to which to refer, but I know I don't want to be that. But I don't want to be that against what? No teaching, no mentorship. There's just nothing. I'm punching in the dark. Yeah, and that is why I think God is very gracious, because He brings, He plugs people your way, and the way He's charted my journey. People were planted in my. I think when I look back with hindsight, people were planted in my life just to. At the time, I didn't know, but they showed me something different. They showed me, even not fathers per se, or rather people who are family people, but just human beings that just generally cared for me genuinely and loved me genuinely. And for me, I can say this, especially receiving love was very difficult for me. Up to now is now when I'm getting to know, I'm actually lovable. I'm actually kumbe pia mimi napendwa. And it's okay to just be loved.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. And so by receiving this love and by, associating with certain people, it has healed me.
Yeah.
Heal. I'm actually able to share this story because it's because
Melvin, we'll talk more about this, but just to put it at the back of your mind, these happened, I'm sure you are almost into your 40s, if not already. These happened in your mid-teens, earlier on in your life. Have you thought about forgiveness, even if Mzae never comes around to say, you know what, I'm sorry, I treated you less than I ought to have? Have you thought about letting it go and just saying, let bygones be bygones? I am charting a path better than what was handed to me, for two reasons in my mind. One, that you can be free off of this burden, because I've read that forgiveness and giving are the most selfish of things. Because when you forgive, it's for you more than the forgiven. And when you give, it's for you even more than the forgiven. This guy goes on praising you. And for the third reason, not one or two, third reason, just so that also you are free of those shackles, so you can treat your sons and daughter better and become a better dad. Because I sense that when you carry these luggage, huge luggage on your back, and this bitterness, and you take it even to the grave, for instance, and refuse that, you know what, Mzee, there's nowhere I'm coming around to forgive you. He might also be struggling with coming around because at his age, he might thinking there's no way I'll come around and apologize to a child. Have you thought about apologizing and just going down and saying, you know what, whatever you might have done to me didn't sit well with me, still doesn't sit well with me, but I've let it go. Have you thought about that at all? Or have you ever done it?
I have. Actually, I have. And without wanting this thing to sound so amazing or even that you close to perfection, I have. When my father came back from the UK a few years ago, I did that. Immediately came from the Big Brother house. He found, I was 33 at the time, and yes, I'm turning 40 in about a week's time.
Yeah.
This kitu ilikuwa too heavy, and for many years I was bitter. I was raging at him. And like you're saying, teachings, people coming my direction, prayer, Bible, I realized this thing kuibeba is too heavy. I have kids who don't know anything about my past. I have a wife who have just gone to take graciously from her parents. Why should she suffer? So, and it's heavy because sometimes you feel no, the society owes me something should happen to me.
Or your father owes you something.
Or my dad owes me something. Actually, my dad owes me nothing.
Yes.
I have apologized to my dad. Mpaka ile kupiga magoti, like, daddy, whatever may have happened between me and you, for those things to happen, nisamehe.
Melvin, hold that thought.
You'll tell us his reaction.
Yes, you'll tell us your reaction. We're hanging out right here in the studio with Melo, as people are calling him on the timeline, Melvin Alusa, and we're just discussing raising a family while pursuing a career in the arts. And Melvin has been so gracious to share his story. And just in the spirit of authentic conversation, that's what we're about right here on 94.4 Spice FM. We're going to take a moment, but we'll be back. We're also going to dive into your feedback. Barbara, I'm sure that Code has a couple of things that that people want to share. If you want to share something with Melvin, if you have a question, now is the time to shoot it. This is Spice FM. Don't touch that dial. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock. Time has flown like a jet. We have a special guest in the building, Melvin Alusa. He's come through, and we're just having a very good, authentic conversation right here. If you've just joined us, you've missed quite a bit, but hopefully Mombi is going to put up the whole conversation right there on the tube, aka YouTube, and you'll be able to catch it. But at least you have an hour. At least we have an hour where we can dig into more in regard to this conversation. We're talking about raising a family while pursuing a career in the arts, and I wanted us just to dive into the feedback, but before we do, Melvin was in the middle of answering a question you asked.
Indeed, I was just asking Melvin, if you're joining us, karibu sana, we have a phenomenal guest, our friend Melvin Alusa, who's an actor, a father, a husband, and an all-round talented man. He's done rugby, acting, and everything in between. You want to just check him out online and see some of his work. If you don't know already, he represented the entire country. Can you believe that? The whole country at the Big Brother Africa Hot Shots, and he did really, really well. So, Melvin, before we went on a break, I was asking about your feelings about forgiveness, and you're right in the midst of it. What was your dad's reaction when he knelt and said, "You know what? I am sorry, Dad. Let bygones be bygones"?
By him being away, I think also he had taken time off, and I think I found him in a good space. I found him in a good space, could be mentally, emotionally, but also the space that we were in at the time, and that seemed to have gone that way at that time. We made up and we just started having a normal relationship. Call him, he calls me, we have a chat. He has a very close relationship with his. Weirdly enough, he loves his grandkids. Like, it's like I don't exist, like
they exist, you don't.
They exist, I don't. He has a loving relationship with his grandkids, but unfortunately, sometimes, not to be honest, not on my side, but on his end, sometimes these things just come back, and sometimes.
How is your relationship now?
Right now, as I sit here again, it's not too good. It's not too good because. The healing part that now needs to happen is on his end. Because also for me, I can only apologize so much and I can only bend down so much, And for me also, this healing has taken so long. And I feel even just for me to come here, I feel I'm in a good place in terms of now I can share because I've healed considerably. Yes. But so whatever keeps coming up now per se, it's just this small two pockets of
eruptions.
Eruptions that come from his end. Yeah, from his end. But I've developed a strategy where I pick my fights. I know what to answer and what not to answer, and just generally use that ignoring button.
How does he feel about you doing these media conversations and talking about him in this light?
Well, this is Eric. This is my story. He happens to be a principal character in my story, but really the writer is me. So I don't think I don't need his permission. And I'm also not out here trying to paint a bad picture of him. I'm just sharing a story about me and he happens to be part of it. So he may not know, or maybe he knows. Yeah, but I wouldn't call him to ask him and say, I'm going to talk about rejection.
Tune in to 94.4.
Tune in and listen to how bad things were. Yeah.
Melvin, allow me to take you back slightly. I'm a parent, so there's something that you said that touched me, but we just moved on. You talked about there's a time in your life when you got children, your first 3 boys, they actually got to experience that particular life that you had. It's like you replicated who your dad was. Now, when you came into changing it, how was that transition? Did you just have a talk with them, or you just shifted? Like the way our old parents would do, they would say something nasty, then all of a sudden they're becoming loving. How did you go through that process with them?
Oh, okay. So also the way they may have experienced it may not have been what I've described here now.
Yes.
But I was just detached.
Okay.
And I was struggling to kumpenda. Kumbe it just doesn't happen.
It's not natural.
Yeah. How I initially managed to get into the zone.
Yes, of being a present father.
Being a present father. I think I just had a conversation with myself and decided, man, if I keep on living my life this way, I'm replicating my dad, and then therefore it's going to become, for me and my family and my life, the same way his has become, which I can borrow very few things from.
Yes.
That, but also moving forward over and above that, up to where I am now. To be honest, it's been prayer. It's been knowing that God loves me unconditionally. That thing broke it for me when I realized that there's someone that loves me unconditionally, and that's God. It gave me such comfort that I'm not rejected, but I'm beloved. I'm accepted by Him. And then I looked at the people He has brought into my life and the situations and the favor that He has shown me. It's like He was screaming, I love you, come on, relax.
Why are you not seeing
Focus this way. Healing comes by forgiving and letting go. That is how I have been able to heal.
You know, it's interesting how parents have that big imprint on our lives. See, I've shared with you also about how I just picked up shouting. My dad used to shout at me and at us generally. And there was a time there were some cousins who were living with us, and all of us were shouting at these kids. So it's very important that you've said that you recognized it. And I think also we have to keep reminding ourselves of this thing, because it's sometimes subliminal, where you can just find yourself shouting at someone you love, which is your kid, or just mistreating them if that's what was imprinted in your life. So you have to keep reminding yourself so that you don't create another person like you in these kids.
Melvin, I keep saying that we have a real challenge, at least from my observation. One time I was sitting with a bunch of my friends, about 5 of us in total, and we got to talk about fatherhood and paciring children. Most of them, I think I may have been the second youngest of the 5. And we started talking about fatherhood. We had a Nigerian there, some friend of mine from Nandi, another friend of mine is Kipsigis, another one who's Kikuyu, and then me, Luo, so very diverse. And everybody on that table had an issue with their father. Everybody. The Nigerian guy said they fought with his father when I think he was 12. He's never seen him. The only time he remember being told about him is when he died. My friend, the Kipsigis one, said the dad moved away 28 years ago, never talks to him. These other ones said that his father one day just came after 35 years of marrying his mom, took his small bag and left. And as a family, they've never talked to him since, and so on and so forth. I mean, from leaders of antiquity, the Davids and the Abraham of the world, Esau and Isaac, Tif, all the way to the Obamas of this world. Obama and Obama Senior had a rough patch. Obama talks about how he was called on a landline, and the voice on the other end said, your father's gotten into a road accident in Kenya and died. And he said he was struggling with emotions about this man who he met once or twice and never quite really knew him as an adult. Now he's died and he didn't know how to relate with that. So maybe as you are doing your fatherhood thing and being a dad, don't you think maybe we should have a lot of fathers coming out and just saying that this thing is not natural? I like what you said in the previous segment, that it's foolish to think that just having a son or a daughter, then boom, love happens. We need to have a conversation around working the relationship, which I think a lot of men don't talk about. Working the relationship, like what entails being a dad. Does that mean I have to bond with my child and change the napkins maybe, or powder them up, or lull them to sleep, and so on and so forth? Because I feel like kids, especially boy children, are let to just grow like weed. And nobody cares. You're just like, there, all right, siku atakuwa 18 atoke.
Yeah. Or most men have assumed also, so you're right, that nurturing a child is just entirely the mother's job.
Left to the mother.
Yeah, that does me, as long as, okay, fine, I'll change. I want to be like my dad. I'm going to provide shelter, food, clothing, education, and then I'll just be around the house. But if you do that, many have done that also in that generation.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see, and still the effects have been rejection. So the point of nurturing a child is not just entirely a mother's duty. And by nurturing, I mean get to know your child. These things right from the onset. Cuddle them, talk to them. I'm not saying I have the entire blueprint, but I'm just saying what I do.
I see you working out with your kids.
Work out with your children. Crack jokes. Be a child. Honestly, to be a dad, especially kids below 10. Just be a child, and you'll be amazed how much of a child you are, and how much you will crawl too. Okay, at some point you get tired.
I know. I'm going through that, but you have to
get like, okay, but it's in those moments that you actually get to understand them, their temperaments, who they are, and the kids also. One thing about children I've seen, especially when they're with fathers, when you farm a child, or when you listen to them, or even when you tell them some weird stories, because I keep telling some weird stories that don't even exist. But the child sees, if this guy who is my dad, who I adore so much, can take the time to tell me a story, then I'm actually a very important person. Like this is amazing. And you do that consistently, the relationship grows. It is time, it is effort, it's way beyond money and all these other things money can provide. Yeah. So we have to be deliberate in this thing. And men should talk. I mean, I'm beginning, I'm opening up. I hope,
yeah, they should talk about their pain and their sufferings, because men don't talk. We bottle things up a lot, and we like to present a very rosy upbringing and a rosy way of doing things. And I like, it's very commendable what you're doing. And I've been looking online, sneaking as you're talking. There's a lot of men who are saying, you know what, I've experienced these as well. This is Melvin. The Melvin story is very similar to mine. Somebody said, I think it's Eric Mutunga who said, same experience here. I get you, bro. Keep it up. And when a man starts talking, then they bring about more men to talk. Yes.
Melvin, had you planned to have 6 children?
Hey, planned? No.
But umekoma ama bado unaendelea?
Nimekoma. I have taken permanent measures.
I'm the ambassador for vaccinating.
To make sure, I won't say how I did it.
But you've taken permanent
measures. Withdrawal mwenda.
Hiyo za zingine backfire. Unajua mimi ndio cheerleader wa vaccine.
Because unajua pia, enye tu pia Council of Elders huko hivyo Luya lana kisikia nimeenda vasectomy. Watachant makas kutoka huyo nini crying stone. So maybe nimeperfect over nini.
Your skills.
Nimeperfect
But right now you don't want much kids.
No. I'm not having any more. Wale niko nao wamenitosha.
Unajua ulipata twins the last set.
Niko na twins the last set. So you see, if now I've become so experienced in siring, this because in the siring segment, nimekuwa so experienced, so nimeanza kutoa mbili. Tena
tatu wewe kwa sababu umefanya 1 so kuanza 2.
Exactly. So I better get that withdrawing right.
So it's good, Barbara, you've asked that question about planning or not to get the kids, because we're talking about arts, and in my experience in the arts, not as checkered as yours, but in my experience, sometimes when you're an artist, the checks come far and in between. You get a gig today, the next gig comes after 3, 4, 5 months, or not. Sometimes inafuatana, but sometimes inaweza kaa before you get another gig. Like how have you maintained that sanity as an artist, full-time artist, and the way these gigs are up and down? How have you worked around that? But I don't know if you can have time to answer that, Melvin. We have 30 seconds. Yes, we have. It's too short, and I want you to answer that properly. We are the adults in the room. We're hanging out with Melvin, Alusa, man, and the conversation is just taking a life of its own. But we're talking about raising a family while pursuing a career in the arts, and the conversation is just going into life et al. And I love the way it's going, man. If you have a question for Melvin, now is the time to shoot it. Just write it there on the on the timeline, and Eric and Barbara and myself, we're just going to read it out and make sure Melvin answers as many questions as possible. Yes, you could call to 0719-012-600, or you could send a message on the code. Just choose which one works best for you. 22 minutes past 9 o'clock. We are the adults in the room, 94.4 Spice FM. Today's a special day. We have a special guest in the building. Barbara, you want to tell the people who is here?
We are talking to our special guest called Melvin Alusa, and our topic of conversation is the balancing act, raising a family while pursuing a career in the arts. Emmanuel, my feed is on fire. Please allow me just to read a few of some of what I'm saying. Mary Eve says, wow, such a strong man. Indeed, you're a real man. I'm so happy for you. Ogunsh Gilbert T says, Melvin, your story has really absorbed me deeply. God is good. And though things seem to be black if every moment, finally you won tirelessly, the tireless fight. Be a good father. The experience you went through is enough, and God will be in control of your family, my brother. Then we have Edward Kaylin, if I'm not wrong. What a really touching story. And Mark Jordan Jr. says, this story is so touching. I have also have an emotional absent father. But from your story, I feel motivated. And please ask him how his current relationship, which I think you've answered. His current relationship with the dad. That's what Jordan is saying.
Eric, what's happening on your end, man?
Oh, indeed. Thank you so much. Remember, 40127 is a code you can share your feedback on. 40127. Barbara, please put it up for me. And I love it that, you're taking time to listen to the conversation and just sharing as generously as you can. Abby is listening to the adults in the room all the way from Kwale. Abby, we say hello back at you. Thank you so much for finding time. Hi, guys. I'm Tausi from K Road, and I'm loving the show. Hello, Spice. Carol listening from Nyeri. Eric huwa anacheka vizuri sana. Carol, it's very funny that I've read 3 comments about my kicheko. When I was growing up, I used to be told to shut up because my laugh was annoying. So now I need to patent it. Thank you so much. Hi, guys. I'm Tausi from K Road. I've read that one. Hi, guys. Kipruto, listening from Koiwa, Bomet. Your conversation is building ladies and gents of tomorrow. Keep it flaming. Thank you so much. People, when do you come to Peaks Hotel? You've not shared your name and where Peaks Hotel is at. Tuambie vizuri tutakuja. Hi everyone, Mike from Nakuru, loving the show. Thank you, Michael. I'm Caro from Greenland of Kericho, locked in and love you guys. Caro from Kericho, salamia watu wote wa Tengecha, salamia watu wengine wote wa hapo Town Center. I don't know why, Barbara, you've minimized and I was still reading. And then Melo is quite a guy. Much respect to you, bro. Morris from Mombasa, Mkindani. Thank you so much. Good evening to you too, Morris. Hi, Spice FM. I'm Agnes Mbaye from Nyayo Estate in Bekasi. I've been a silent listener since April and I really love your shows. Thank you so much, Agnes. Please don't be silent anymore. We look forward to a phone call next time, yay? I'm Caro from Greenland, Kericho. Asante, all of you. It's so many. We don't get tired of them. Keep them coming. I see Michael Juma on Twitter. Sally David is asking Melvin atupe siri ya kupata mapacha. David Neto, all of you. Keep your thoughts coming. We'll be reading them out as we go along. Remember also, the phone lines are open 0719 012 600 or 719 012 600. Please call in with your questions and comments and even advice that you would seek from Melvin. They say when you learn, you teach, and when you get, you give. You never know if you're in pain and you might need some gain from Melvin. 0719 012 600 is a number to call. So we hear what you have so to say. Keep the calls coming.
Yes, and Barbara, you have something you want to say?
Yes, Melvin, you have your classmates on the timeline. They're sending their love. One of your classmates called James Toli says, quite a touching story from my classmate, but God is no man. Glory to him.
Kabisa, Barbara. Yeah. So, Melvin, you shared, very authentically. You've been sharing since you came through, and we appreciate that. You talked about 6 kids, and you're an artist. And I was bringing up, this line of, conversation, like checks for artists sometimes, depending on where you are in your journey, sometimes they're far. You get a check today, you wait to get another one, depending obviously on your level as an artist. Have you had some of those challenges as you're raising this very nice big family, but still you have to provide, you have to pay that school fees, you have to buy that food 3 meals a day plus for the house, feeding the house help and everyone who you need to assist? Is it how do you manage that, and what's the story behind that? Has it been smooth all the way, or have you faced some challenges?
It's been smooth all the way. Me, I have all the money I want.
Next question.
I've had my fair share of challenges like any other artist. Like you've described it very well. You've described it like an artist. Checks are far in between. Some seasons are good where gigs keep coming and you go afloat. But there are seasons where your check ni ngumu atakupata. And then of course now for me, the family growing and becoming now what it is, I've had my fair nimekuwa na struggles mingi sana I've been evicted. I've had the times to this year I was evicted thrice. Yeah, but not to say that anybody's fault. It's just that you get to a point where now you have to realize, you have to plan Financially, now you have to be awake and begin to plan. See mchezo anymore, Yeah, it's there's okay. So you're an artist, but family is real. Yes, of course, art is real. Like the responsibility of being a father in this generation, ni true, and they are bedded on finances. So for me, what I have been able to do, I've been able to time the seasons. I know when the seasons are dry and when they're going to be. There's a way you can just know. Yeah, you can tell. Like lately, haunioni kama nafanya adverts zote. I don't even go for auditions at adverts because I know for me my season for adverts per se imeisha. There's a time nilikuwa na roll na adverts like twice a year nafanya huge adverts.
Nilikuwa nakupata huko level 1,
level 3, 4 niko all over the place, but that was a season. Now niko season nyingine. So it's when the season is good you try to invest upon a pale, get something aside from art that can bring in something. Hata kama tu ni 2K, 3K per day, inakusaidia na magroceries pale nyumbani. Just to uphold the family. But ukitegemea tu ni that check indele hivyo, ndo unapata ndo hizo my evictions zinafanyika. Spills over to the family, spills over to wife. Because pia finances in marriage are key.
Unaweza ongeleshwa saa 9:30. And I don't know how you find sleep. Na tumefungiwa nyumba. Sasa umejiekelea unalala. Si ndio? Uko na usingizi. Melvin unakuwaga serious wewe?
So nimekuwa hivyo maybe niko na something by the side yenye mifanya. Niko na kitu tu see by the side to say it by the side. It's also another passion that I have there that I'm getting into. I'm going to get into that. It's bringing me something else to help me cushion when times are tough.
Yeah. Would you encourage anyone to pursue a career in arts, acting? Is it sustainable, or is it something that you have to go in knowing this is passion and it can go my way, or sometimes it has its seasons, as you're saying?
It has its seasons. Let me say, for a career in the arts, the way I see it, I career hauichagui. The art just chooses you. It pulls you. Because I got into this when I was about 24. I was doing something totally different. But how I got into this, if you're an actor, you're an actor. If you can sing, you can sing. It's in you. It's embedded in you. And the moment you taste an opportunity to express yourself artistically, that's the end. It's just that get into it when you're young, when you're still able to maneuver and adventure. But as you grow older, now when times for family come, you have to at least have another source of income too. From
strike your balance.
Yeah, strike your balance. So from your art, two other sources.
Melvin, the grapevine has it that you and the very, very award-winning, Oscar-winning Lupita Nyong'o are bosom buddies. Do you guys still talk?
Oh, we are bosom buddies. We talk. Me and Lupita.
Hata sikisema Jumama anasikia lakini mlikuwa very close.
Wewe unapenda kuchoma picha wewe. Vitu zingine unanyamaza. Cheki unachoma.
Labda madama anajua hizo mambo za closeness kwa artistry. Kwa artistry,
we talk at length about art and the possibilities and how the industry here can develop, how we can do collaborations between them.
You have a foresight of a Jew prophet.
So we're going to pick up a couple of phone calls. 0719012600 is the number if you have something to share with Melvin, a question, a comment. Now is the time to call in. And remember, when you get on the air, please switch off that radio so that we can hear you very, very clearly. Spice FM, hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm good, sir. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Joshua.
Uh-huh.
The gentleman sitting there, Melvin Alusa, is quite a good friend of mine.
All right. Ongea, talk to him.
He used to love saying this, nakupenda by force. Yeah. So one question to Melvin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without saying a lot is first, Melvin. It's a good journey.
Yeah.
As men, we walk through this journey. It only makes us stronger.
Yes.
And we become better. Now, my question to you is, as you start a new life, like people who are out there starting new marriages, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you deal with challenges that are very deep, that almost separate you apart, especially in this world where a man has to work, provide for the family.
Yeah.
And still be home, provide love. You have to travel very far.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that, especially you in your field? I'm sure you travel a lot.
Yeah.
What happens? How do you fill that void? You said the technology thing, but how do you deal with the emotional part of it?
All right, Joshua. Okay.
I think anauliza kama mtu anaweza, kama tuseme mtu anaweza kata mama enough ndio ukienda 52 days ako ametosheka. Hivyo ndio nauliza. No, hivyo ndio anauliza huko.
That's why you said deep challenge.
Yeah, deep. As unajituma kabisa hizo wiki mbili kabla utoke. Kabisa ndio so ukienda 52 days ako ameshiba.
No, actually, I think niyo.
Niyo.
Umeingia boxi hapo.
I think kwanza Joshua mazee, asante kwa kupiga Joshua mazee. Ulisema utapiga na umepiga. Asante sana Joshua. So I think what I can say to Nile, what has worked for me, because for me Nile, when I'm home, I really try to, kama najua sina anything nafanya at all kabisa, sijipati shughuli za zenye haziko. So I immerse myself in my family completely, because for me actually the over and above doing huge Hollywood movies or being on elaborate Netflix productions, I think when I go, the legacy nataka kuacha, if tomorrow was the day I'm departing from the earth, the first thing I would like to look back and say hapa nilitoboa is I want to look at the children that I have left, people that are solidly grounded, wako fiti, wako balanced emotionally, wako balanced psychologically, successful men and women and their grandchildren and and their kids. I mean, legacy yangu ni family. So if that is the case, therefore, ndo hizi movies for the badai, if that's the case, therefore, anytime niko available, then I immerse myself in that. Now for the wife Joshua, for the wife to mpatie extra tender loving care. Haitoshekangi, ni kama kupuliza gunia, but just try, do it and do it and do it over again. Just be there for her.
I think I like that analogy. When you're there, you really are there 150%, so that when you go away, that excess being there compensates slightly until you come back.
Until you come back, until you come back.
Are there any serious family men artists that you look up to and say, I'd like to be like this?
Yes. There's one man called Peter King. He went before me. Alipata watoto mbele yangu. He's an amazing actor. Right now he's taken a bit of a break from acting, but he's one of the most prolific actors in Nigeria. He's a grounded family man, another and very loving, very caring, not just to his wife but also to us other to artists wengine kama sisi. Mtu pia ni baba yangu sana kwa industry. And I'm talking about career wise in terms of advice ya career and even family life. Is Mr. Raymond Ofula, who I talk to.
Oh my goodness, I love that man.
That man is an amazing man. Raymond Ofula has a family. Now his wife left him early a bit.
I saw here on Mombasa Road.
Yeah.
I've been following his career for so long. I respect him.
Raymond Ofula is phenomenal. Na pia huyo ni mtu mwenye I look up to. And when I'm down, nikimpigia simu, he's encouraged me really. Actually, to me, Raymond has been a father voice. And the way he is with his grandkids and his sons is just phenomenal. There are quite a number. Pia saizi, there's quite a number of men. Kuna, like, ukenda pale Tao on Sunday Uhuru Park. The number of men you see carrying their kids on the shoulder. Very modest families. Wamekuja pale, they've taken their queen cake, their soda, and now they're walking back to take forward travelers back to Kayole. This is a guy who works at Ilasto area. Those guys are there. People who have now decided to change the narrative completely and break this curse ya rejection, resentment. Wako. Ni vile tu watu haonge. Ni vile tu the negative obviously gets more attention. He's always screaming louder. But I've seen men around me who are just doing it even better. Even better.
Do you think keeping your wife, your relationship with your wife private helps? Instead of busting it out there in social media, showing your love for your missus hapo unamkiss kwa video ukitoka.
Emmanuel iku kiss leo utatuambia mara mingi.
Do you think avoiding that helps in the longevity of a public figure's relationship?
honestly, I don't know if it helps because I haven't done it. So, because if I had done it, then I stopped doing it, then I would say I can compare the two. But for me, it's she's the one who has actually decided like our family life should be completely private. Now, I mean, she keeps admonishing me on the same, especially our relationship with her. You know, yeah. So I think it helps just to keep that side private.
Yes.
Yeah, because even I'm talking about Denzel Washington, you rarely see his kids, you rarely see his wife, you rarely see him.
Except in their discipline, whatever they're given to do, but you don't see them doing frivolous things.
Yeah. And to what end, really? So I'm kissing my wife. I have this lovely thing that's going on. To what end? So what? You know,
nobody cares. Really.
Nobody cares. So I've seen it. Then,
I wonder if they do take two. Check your kisa ijatokea poa tuchape tena. Okay, you ikoje.
Very interesting. What are your thoughts wherever you're listening from? Please remember that we are looking forward to not only your phone call, but as we go along, we'll be reading some of your many feedback that you've sent. Remember, we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Our handle remains the same at Spice FM KE. Today, we're joined by a very special guest, a friend of the show, and a personal friend of mine, Melvin Alusa, who is an actor, a dad. We're discussing everything art, craft, love, sex, and relationships, and even relationships with our dads, even those that have gone sour. So all of that. Remember, we have a short code just for you. Or 40127 is a short code. Please save it on your phone and familiarize yourself with it. I see Mary from Kisumu who says she's enjoying the show and says thank you so very much. Touching story. May the Almighty Father give us grace as we raise our children. That is Min Ryan again from Kisumu. Abby from Rongai says she's listening, enjoying the conversation. Thank you so much, Abby. Hard to confirm. We'll be sure this guy is in the studio. And my bro, we are through same hell and more. So painful indeed. Abigail, Nandi County, says that he shares very, very deep. Abigail is a woman. She says that she shares very deeply about your story, Melvin, and she's been through the same. And so on and so forth. Please share your thoughts. I see Victor Obado says, touching story. Because Zulu should put this in his writing. Indeed, he should. Michael Juma, I see you. Sally David, thank you so much. Barbara, what are you learning on Facebook, if at all? I'm
seeing a lady by the name Marcy B. says she's tuned in from Kericho. This is a very inspiring story. Brent Kidake says, question. I think that's for you, Melvin. What are the effects of raising a family while pursuing a career in art? 2, advantages of raising a family in the arts.
Barbara, hold that thought. Let's pick up call, and then we're going to go into that. We just want to pick up a few calls here, and then we'll be back with Barbara's, question that she's read. Let's hear what Marceline has to say. Marceline!
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, my darling.
I am fine. I'm good. Now,
yes.
Today, I want to talk about the topic. Kwanza salimia Melvin.
Nimepokea salamu. Asante sana.
Salamu. Yeah, your story is touching. Sasa, I want to say this. I feel like we should have a conversation around how to take care of children born out of wedlock. Yeah? Because watoto wanaachanishwangwa vibaya, and hii inafanya mpaka they live a life which they don't lead a good marriage life, or even their career life doesn't go well. So I feel like society should at least try to understand these children, and even for the parents who got them, at least wajaribu to take care of our watoto, because mostly they're usually blessings. Wao wanakuanga blessed. Mnaona? Because I feel like they have been neglected. Most of them, they get neglected a lot. So I feel like they should be taken care of well, and at the end of the day, so that they are able to live to lead good marriage life and even good career life in future.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right, Marceline, thank you. Let's pick up another call. Spice FM, hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
Hey, we can hear you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm Michelle from Mombasa.
Michelle, karibu sana.
Unawafuatilia sana bana. I'm a young listener actually.
Asante sana Michelle. You want to say hi to Melvin?
Barbara, hi Melvin.
Hello Michelle.
Hello my dear.
Salama sana.
Do you have any question for Melvin?
Sina swali kwa sasa.
Salamu tu.
Salamu talafu Eric sasa.
Fit sana, uko aje?
Niko poa sana.
Umesema unapiga Mombasa kutoka wapi? Nikuja Mombasa nikutafute?
Niko Bamburi Mtamboni. Ukifika tu uko jamani nitafute.
Haya, nitakutafuta lazima. Twende tukakule mahamri na nini unajua?
Mahamri, mbazi, alafu tunywe dafu hapo jioni. Unaje?
Kabisa nikubali.
Barbara, she saying hi to you.
Hi darling.
Wambaje jamani?
Niko salama, uwapendao?
Nashukuru.
Ni vizuri. Asante sana kwa kupiga simu.
Yeah, thank you so much. Very sweet.
You see, I have invitations to Coastal. Now zimefika ngapi Barbara, wewe ndio unawahesabiki?
184.
Nakwambia ndafika Coast kipwa tupu na sasa nimeinua chuma wewe.
Shida au ni wasichana 184. Sasa sijui utafanya.
Kwanza naanza tu kudance kiuno hivi airport. Coast itakubali.
Na unahitaji nika 3 months.
Manu utakomenda ndondeti.
Utakomenda
vacation mandate.
Eriki, utakomeinua chuma
mbaya. Cheki parariro Eriki huyu ashafikia. Na vishairi nitaandika. Amina na Abdalla, Mwambaje mko wapi? Dodoma mambo nzuri, nazi ya Dodoma stamu kushinda Mombasa. Mombasa nazi nywe. Na wasichana napenda wasichana wa Mombasa. Nyali nkubali, mimi Dodoma Eriko Omondi, napenda wote wa Nyali.
This song has gotten Barbara off her feet.
Of course.
She's just been jamming right here in the studio. And Eric knows the deep lyrics of this jam.
Wewe ndio mshamba ujui.
Ni maajabu sana.
Unadhani mzee juzi vipi?
Mumbi was asking me yesterday.
Checky baby bend over.
You know, Mumbi was asking, Mumbi is our producer. Yesterday as we were going home, she asked me, Eric, what is your genre? Ikifika Lingala unaimba, ikifika hip hop unaimba, ikifika reggae unaimba. Mazee kwani unapenda ngoma gani? So nikamjibu na akashtuka sana.
Hii ndio.
But tulikuwa tunatesa. Unakumbuka zile enzi tukikutana pale cha Chiangara? Na demi yangu tu nimevaa kofia
but pia when I'm consistent.
When you date for long.
We'll date for long. For long. Mlikuwa mnapiga biz pale tao vizuri.
Unaelewaje wewe na msapere wangu?
Sijasema ni business gani
hiyo. Haya kuuza matunda watu unajua.
Mazi kuuza matunda. Alafu
anaitwa kama doa matunda.
Pia ule dem nilikuwa naye after that. The only other woman nishikuna naye alikuwa anafanana na yule mwingine pia.
Kwa hivyo uko na type.
So uko na type.
Utaniambia nimekuwa nikitafuta hii type.
Gani? Utaniambia.
Nitakwambia mimi na Melo. Mimi na Emmanuel.
Umgeni hapo hivyo karibu na Adams. Nikasema
kweli nakumbuka. Hapo niko na tupandewano.
But ni warembo sana.
Lakini Melo unaniambia vitu mzuri.
Man. Melo, you have a huge crew following, man. Unataka kutuma salamu?
Mazee niko na salamu ningependa kutuma. Nisipotuma salamu
mazee umekama hapa.
Na wewe ni Mluya.
Mimi ni Mluya bana.
People have started calling who've never ever called before. Na usiende nao watu wabaki pia.
Wabaki hapa please.
Mazee ningependa kutuma salamu of course.
Yes.
Kwanza kabisa ningependa kufikisha salamu pale kwangu tu hapo kwa nyumba. Najua bibi yangu hapo tu unasikiza hii show vizuri. I hope nimekurepresent vizuri. A hospitable, wonderful woman after God's own heart. Watu hii kama wajalala pia wasalimie sana hiyo jeshi yote. Watoto simanisikia.
Bibi amesema mlale.
Nyinyi wote blanket salamu kwenye nyinyi wote sasa mnaenda kulala. Haya, number 2 kuna squad inajiita kitchen cabinet wanajijua. Hii sasa ni my people wa karibu sana.
Yes.
These are my cousins, my brothers and and my sisters.
Your family.
My family basically tunajiita kitchen cabinet. Pokeeni salamu sana, msinishikie makali. Timu yangu ya Kakamega High School akina Joshua, kina Cliff pale kwa Kakamega High School alumni, pokeeni salamu nyinyi wote pia. You're part of the process, you're part of the team yenye pia imenijenga. kuna familia yangu pia ya my spiritual family wanajiita msingi. Sijita msingi e-group. We meet for prayer, we support each other. They have supported my marriage, they have helped me raise these kids. They've been phenomenal. They come through at 3 a.m. au any wamenishikilia sana. Msingi e-group, najua mnanisikia, pokeeni salamu sana. Timu yangu pia ya hapa Timol, Raymond, Madhe hapo, akina Rahab, akina Eddie plus the newborn, pokeeni salamu sana. Kama nimekusa, okay, Lorela pia pokea salamu, Christine pokea salamu. Okay. Anybody else? Sijasahau kwa ubaya.
No, we have tuko hapo paka 12. But Melo, just before we pick up a couple of phone calls, and now is the time to call in 0719012600. What are you up to in terms of your artistry? Is there anything coming through that we can look forward to enjoying?
Definitely. I have I've signed an NDA, an NDA, but I'll just say there's a movie that's coming out next year. That's going to be a huge movie. When the time is up, I'll let you guys know so that you can hype it. It's going to be one of the most amazing movies to come to from this side of this. From this side of Africa. Itoka movie kali sana. Hiyo inatokea next year, so guys watch out for that.
Congratulations for that project.
Asante sana. Niko pia, I'm beginning a YouTube channel. Yeah, to talk about this, to continue with this conversation and to establish hapa. I'll be sharing basically my fatherhood journey. Not si kuongea about rejection per se, but just basically to just share how I do this parenting thing with my children and how challenges, good times, bad times, to help encourage someone. Because pia niko na I have people I mentor. Yeah, there's people who just come up na mentor, na train kwa tu young men who can hold relationships na wasitoke kwa manyumba zao wasihepe. Yani hiki kitu pia inawezekana. Kitu kingine pia ningependa tu kusema hata before, yani guys, honestly, if you're a father somewhere, my passionate appeal to men that have children. My passionate kama tu kuna njoti yako mahali ulipiga njoti kashika ukapatia msichana wa mtu ball na akazaa. Kama ilikuwa one night stand ama hiyo ni
those excuses they make.
Yeah, those excuses. Tafadhali mazi na kuomba whatever you're doing to that child ni kitu mbaya sana, because my story hii nimepiga hapa is the same story your child atakamali siku moja akiambia watu dunia vile babake alimreject. You're destroying a young life. Please get in touch with your baby mama. Guys, when mmepa kwa family, go back. Let's raise our children. Society kama iko hivi because most of us were raised by our mothers. How about if society is raised by dads? Maybe it'll be way much better. Even my passionate appeal to men to shikile family zetu.
Said it like it is, man. Let's try and squeeze in at least a call. 0719012600 is the number. Do you want to have the last word? Melo is over here for the next couple of minutes, and now is the time if you want to, just chime in on the conversation that we've been having. Hello.
Hello, it's Eli.
VP Eli from Twapa.
Eli from Twapa.
Karibu sana, brother.
Hey, are you getting me?
We can hear you loud and clear. What are your thoughts today?
Yeah. Manu, Eric, and Barbara.
Yes, sir.
Whatever you are talking about, it is something that I was rejected. And I myself, I decided to move from Kisumu to Mombasa. But maybe I can get 1, 2, 3. Because I went to Nairobi, and also I went from Nairobi then to Mombasa now at this moment. So the rejection, it is something which is there, but I myself, I need somebody who can counsel me, because I say that to hell to be. To hell to be, I supposed to be given a kind of a plot where I can also be, let me say that 6 feet is just enough for me.
All right, Ellie there talks about he also experienced rejection. I guess many guys are relating to your story, Melvin, and I wish we had more time, but we don't. Eric, I love that now we are having these conversations openly. Starting with the one we had the other day, obviously that we fished about from Wanja Kavengi, and now we have Melvin right here in the flesh, just sharing from his heart. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming through. I hope this is not the last time we're going to see you here, brother.
Anytime, vile kwanza mkona calls Mombasa hivi, kama mkona activation Mombasa, please let me know. Plug me in, Rico.
Absolutely.
No, but really, I mean, we can always have this kind of conversations. I'm willing. I'm happy to do it.
Eric, you wanna just thank Melvin?
No, thank you, Mello, man. I cannot thank you enough. Of course, we'll have more of these conversations. Somebody, Shaggy, once said that no matter what did he say? He says, no matter how blue you feel, somebody has it worse than you. No matter how blue you feel, somebody has it worse than you. We're keeping it real along one of these songs. So I like that you've come out and you're sharing your story. And to you who's listening, whichever your story is, because all of us have a story, I think just keep on keeping on. The beauty about life is that there are segments of it that are gloomy, but not the entire journey is gloomy. So as you're waiting for your bright, shining light, just hang in there. It's going to be better.
Good. So Melo, karibu tena once again. Thank you for coming through. Salamia the missus.
Asante sana.
Barbara, tuambie Melo kitu bana.
Asante sana, umenipatia ruhusa. Nilikuwa na ngoja.
Go ahead.
Anyway, Melo, thank you so much for coming. Regards to the family, and I want to end with what you said to any father out there. Please don't neglect your child. Make that deliberate effort. And even if you're a father, try and be a present dad, both physically and emotionally.
Yes, most definitely. This show is going to get up there on YouTube ASAP. So if there's anyone who's missed out on the conversation, you can spread the word. Remember, tomorrow morning, the situation room are going to be here at 6 a.m. all the way till 10. And then at 3, Monique is going to be back with the Spice Drive from 3 all the way till 7 o'clock. And then at 7, by God's grace, we'll be back for another session of authentic conversation. A fire guest coming through tomorrow, God willing. It's gonna be a big show, and make sure you make a date. Melvin, thank you once again. We just want to wish you a very, very good night, people. Remember, the playlist is extra spicy, all night long, so you don't have to touch that dial. On behalf of Mumbi, our super duper producer, and Brian Amlioto, who makes us look so good on those streets of the internet, we just want to wish you a very, very good night and very, very sweet dreams all the way till the morning. See you tomorrow. Keep safe. It's exactly 10 o'clock.